Hey guys, welcome back to Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel for the episode today. Hey guys, today I'm going to pull out my crystal ball and I'm going to give you my prediction on what I think the sport of bass fishing is going to look like 10 years from now, down the road. I think about stuff like this all the time. A lot of people probably are just so wound up in catching fish, they don't really do that, but I think a lot about the future of the sport and what's going to be here after everybody that's watching this video is gone. I just think that is the responsible thing to do. I think when you get to a certain point in your fishing, you have to start focusing on what you're going to hand off to the next generation instead of your own fishing success and your own fishing situation. So I'm going to give you guys sort of a Nostradamus warning, moving forward into the future here. So we're going to dig into that in today's episode here. Also, guys, thank you very much, man. Thank you for everybody that's taken time to subscribe here at Intuitive Angling and, sign up as a channel member. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that's using all the links that I put in every video description. I know you guys get tired of hearing about that, but I just want you to know that me and my family really appreciate everybody that supports Intuitive Angling, and hope you guys are enjoying the content and look forward to keep putting those videos out for you guys. Okay, this here's the deal. I guess let me try to shine a positive spin on this a little bit. You really have two different scenarios here. You have a probable reality, which is the one I'm going to talk about that's most likely to occur, highly likely to occur, and then you have a possible reality. Now, the possible reality we'll talk about are some things that could happen if some major changes come about in the sport, but I want to address both of those in the video. So let's talk about the probable reality of what we're going to see 10 years from now in the sport. It ain't good, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, it is not good. And one of the things that happened, I had a glimmer of hope about this time last year because the tournament organizations were making some changes, especially like in forward-facing sonar, to limit that technology and the exploding, advancing technology that's just out of hand. But then they've started to pull back on it right now. We've seen there's no other word to put it, the disgusting changes that the MLF have made just over the past couple of weeks, where they announced that they're completely changing the BFL format. They're going to go to no restrictions on forward-facing sonar. They've, all of the stuff, they've basically are just going full bore on this whole thing. They got rid of all the restrictions on forward-facing sonar for the high school programs they have. Last year, it was illegal for you to use forward-facing sonar or 360 in the high school tournaments. Moving forward, they're not going to have any restrictions on it. So we took a big step backward with that. And I don't see Bassmaster doing anything, moving forward in the future with that technology, because we talked about it before. It's just the influence of money that the sponsorships from the electronic companies have that just, overwhelms everything. I mean, that's one of the things that we see in our society rampant today, is how, money corrupts everything, and money is the main influential factor that transcends, the bigger picture of things that are better for, the majority of the people in the long run. Sort of like it benefits a small minority and punishes the large majority. So from that standpoint, the possible reality that we have, which is one of the biggest problems, is this continued explosion on electronic technology. 10 years from now, guys, if we don't have some regulations and restrictions, the advancements that we have in electronic technology right now, it's reached a critical mass. It's like we went a long time in the sport where we had very, very modest advancements. You had the paper graphs that came about after the flashers, and the paper graphs were basically just a rudimentary two-dimensional sonar. And then you had some of the LED innovations that came about in the 80s, where you had the LED screens, the real rudimentary pixels. And that pretty much stayed unchanged up until about, 10 or 15 years ago, when you started having the 360 technology come in, down imaging, and now the forward-facing sonar. So the exponential growth that we have seen over the past 5 years is at a rate that we've never seen before. And since there's so much money in it to be made, and the whole AI takeover, because all the tech bro billionaires are basically, the tech bro billionaires basically run this country, guys. They own the politicians. They tell the politicians what they do. They are a dark force in our country right now, the tech bro billionaires. There's about 7 companies that basically prop up the stock market. It's a big hoo-ha mess. But the main thing is this integration of the AI technology and fishing is on the way, and nobody is here to stop it. We do not. It is obvious, guys. They have proven it, and I have given them the benefit of the doubt, and I have crossed my fingers that they wouldn't do it, but they have proven the leadership of MLF and Bassmaster, they are not responsible enough to see the bigger picture, and you can't count on them to do the right thing because they're not going to. It is obvious to me. I'll be shocked if they would change their position on it. So what you're going to have is you're going to have this AI technology 10 years from now that has completely taken over fishing, where you're going to have such an advancement out there, and it's not going to be cheap. It's going to cost money, which is also going to, further increase this financial disparity and the financial separation and the income equality that exists in bass fishing, the financial elitism that's creeping into our sport. All of this is a byproduct of forward-facing sonar, this whole, income disparity we have. So you're going to have this technology that you're going to be able to scan probably all the way around your boat, and you're going to be able to literally pick out every single bass in the lake. It doesn't matter if they're hiding under a lily pad stem, or if they're under a boat dock, or if they're out in the middle in 30 foot of water, or if they're suspended on a bridge pier. This technology you will be able to know where every single bass is in the lake. You're going to know the overall mood and personality of that bass based upon its behavior. You're going to be given the highest probability of lure selection and lure color, speed to retrieve, and then you're going to be able to cast it out there, and based upon the movement of the fish, the AI technology is going to tell you how to make your adjustment. Cast 4 feet over to the left, change your lure color from a blackback chartreuse to a sexy shad, go to a medium fast stop and go retrieve instead of a medium. All of this stuff's going to be coming out because nobody's there to stop it. We do not have, listen to this, guys, we do not have adults in the room at MLF or Bassmaster to stop this, and we do not have adults in the room within most fisheries managers, fisheries management, organizations, conservation departments. They're dragging their feet. They've proven also they're not going to do anything about it. They've adjusted some creel limits on crappie because live scope is devastating the crappie populations. But in general, most of the fisheries biologists, the wildlife people, the fish and game managers, they are so disconnected from what's happening here that I don't have much hope in them at all. So that's going to be one thing. The next probable reality with that is we are going to continue to have an environmental degradation in our air and water, and especially our water qualities across the lake. We have people in positions right now of power, and you can look it up online, guys. This is not my opinion, this is reality. Our environmental laws over the past 2 years have been dismantled and weakened and eliminated, and all the teeth taken out of them to the point where basically they don't exist. We've had federal lands opened up to development. We've had polluters that normally had to had stringent environmental regulations put upon them that don't have it anymore. They've been deregulated. It's all to make more money, guys. That's all it is. It's make more money. It's to feed those corporate donors. It's a dark vicious cycle that we're in. So unless we have some positions of power that change, that put responsible safeguards and regulations and protections on our environmental laws that influence our water quality, we are going to see our water quality to continue to degrade over the future in terms of like mercury contamination, sulfur dioxide poisoning, different type of point source pollution, all this stuff that most people are not aware of because the current power structure that we have has basically put a muzzle on all those organizations that were watchdogs to these problems in the past. So again, it's a screwed up freaking mess. So from that standpoint, of the environmental, reality that we have facing us, the reality of forward-facing sonar and electronic technology. Those two things right there have created a situation where our bass fishing history over the next 10 years is in serious problem. And on top of that, you have this increase in the cost of everything. Right now, if you go to get a fully rigged, top-of-the-line bass boat, you're going to pay over $100,000. That's even going to be more in the next 10 years. You're looking at $200,000 bass boats, guys, are literally right around the corner, and wages have not kept up with that. Wages do not keep up with the price increases that we're seeing on boats. So it further exasperates this income disparity amongst anglers. So in my opinion, and this is like the probable reality, you're going to see bass fishing become more of an elitist sport on the top level especially. You're going to see a degradation in the fishing in terms of the quality of it and the overall experience. You're going to see a complete takeover of AI technology and electronic technology in bass fishing, and you're going to see our waters much more polluted than they've ever been over the next 10 years. Everything that I just said right there, guys, it can be backed up by fact and reproducible results and peer-reviewed opinion on this. It's the path we're on. Okay, now let's talk about the possible reality. The possible reality is the silver lining that we have got to look for. The silver lining, what could happen, and the possible reality of how the sport could be in 10 years is it could be better than it has ever been, ever. The income disparity could be lessened. Our waters could be cleaner. We could have more fishing back to more of a pure sport. And this is how it happens. Number one, if we have conservation departments and fisheries managers that start banning electronic technology and keep it at a baseline of two-dimensional sonar for finding fish. That's number one. Number two is if we have complete management change of MLF and Bassmaster. And I keep picking on MLF and Bassmaster because the trend that they set, it bleeds over into every other thing. It bleeds over into regional and local circuits. It bleeds over into recreational fishing. You cannot discount the impact that that has on fishing. If we get rid of the people in power at MLF right now and Bassmaster and replace them with people that have critical thinking skills, they have vision for the future, they understand the reality and the problems that we're moving forward, and they start making adjustments accordingly, and they start taking bass fishing back in terms of the baseline for it, like it was, say, like in the 1985 or 1990, where electronic technology does not play that big of an impact in the sport. Basically, electronic technology tells you how deep the water is, and fishing returns to what it's supposed to be, which is fishing to find fish, where the intrinsic value of fishing is reinstated, where the mystery and the magic and the unknown start coming in again. That's another thing with it. And finally, guys, we have got to get people in positions of political power that influence the legislation in this country, that are scientific minded, that are data driven, that understand the challenges we have environmentally to this planet, that don't deny the reality of climate change, that don't deny the reality of mercury contamination and sulfur dioxide poisoning in our waters, and that start instituting and placing forth safeguards that protect our air and water quality for future generations and our own fishing out there. I have never understood how the human species is so stupid that they will literally pollute their own air and water that keeps them alive to have bigger quarterly profit margins. And that's what it is. But right now, we have a bunch of science-denying, knuckle-dragging people that make a lot of the laws that we have right now, and you're seeing the impact of that, across the board. So we can change it, guys. This is not inevitable. The path that I just talked about right here is not an inevitable future, but we have got to have people in positions of power across the whole board out there that have vision for the future and understand the bigger picture of what we are doing to ourselves and what we are doing to the sport. We have got to have people that are critical thinkers and have critical thinking skills and can step beyond the here and now and the immediate and take a look and say, if we continue down this path for another 10 or 20 years, this is the reality of the situation, no sugarcoating it. But right now, guys, we don't have that. We have weak leadership everywhere, everywhere. And it's obvious by the way the direction is going with our fishing in this sport. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think about it. Give me some comments. We'll talk later.